Hey everybody, welcome back to Golf Test Dummy, the channel where I use my game to help your game, hopefully. And today I want to wrap up my time with the Zen Golf method, sort of a review of what I learned in my 6 or 7 weeks in using the Zen Golf approach. Let's get it. Well, as you can see, it's raining. I was supposed to go play golf today. I got up at 6 a.m. normally like I do on a Sunday morning, and I knew that there was a chance of rain today because of the hurricane that's coming in through the Gulf Coast this time of year. We get them all the time, and it's pouring rain. It was a little bit of a drizzle, but when I looked at the forecast, it said that there was a really good chance that the rain was going to become heavier and that it was going to last all day, and it has. So this morning what I want to do, rather than get out on the golf course, is take some footage from the golf course, the driving range, things like that during my time with the Zen Golf method, which I spent about 7 weeks on, and I want to share sort of my thoughts and kind of do a little bit of an analysis and wrap everything up in a neat little package with a nice little bow on top of it, so that you can kind of get my final thoughts on the Zen Golf method before I move on to something else. Let's start off with some footage from last year. I've been on YouTube for about 1.5 years at this point, and I have gone through several different methods. I've tried different drills, different techniques. I've tried to move the club in different ways, my setup position, the way I swing. Tried to change my ball flight a little bit, my distances, and all sorts of stuff like that. And it's amazing to me. I don't know if you guys have this problem or not, but I film myself all the time for the channel. I go back and I watch at regular speed, I watch in slow-mo, and so often I see things that don't actually change on video. There's really not that big of a difference between my swing 1.5 years ago and my swing now. Either the Zen Golf method, the Jim Venetos method, you know, anything I'm trying, there's just not a huge difference. Now, of course, with Jim Venetos, I was trying to stay still, so my swing did look drastically different there. However, all of the other methods that I tried, there's really not that big of a difference when you watch it back on video. So fast forward to now. This is my week 1 with Zen Golf, where I was just in my home doing some drills, trying to swing the club back and through, working on my footwork, trying to relax and let the club move as it does, simply being controlled by my feet. That is sort of the Zen Golf approach. They work on your footwork, hoping that it transitions and cascades through the rest of your body and controls all of your movements by what your feet do. Fast forward to last week's footage. This is me on course, sort of some front nine stuff before I really started recording for the video, and just watching my swing naturally. This is my footwork. Now, my finish does look different. I'll say that. The finish does look different. The feel is definitely different, and my practice swings are excellent. That doesn't always translate into my swing over the golf ball, but practice swings are great. And I hit some really good shots, and I hit some that weren't, anything to write home about. But here's a swing that I felt was probably my best contact, my best swing, everything of the day. This is an 8-iron from about 152 yards, I believe, headed for this par 5 green that I was trying to cut around this tree. I'll slow it down here for you so you can take a better look. This strike was great. I really loved this shot. However, when I look back in slow motion and I compare it to some of my older swings and break it down, again, it really doesn't look that different, even though it felt much better and my distances were even better. Here we go. Side by side. This is 1.5 years ago on the left and last week on the right. I may have a little bit less early extension where my legs are not so straight, and maybe I'm not shrugging my shoulders quite as much, but the positions look so similar. Guys, we have a lot of new subscribers to this channel, a lot more people coming in, more people viewing. I get comments all the time, and I want to say something really quick to just sort of explain a little bit about this channel in general and what I'm trying to do here. Back when I started this channel, and I came up with the idea for what it was that I wanted to do and what direction I wanted to go in and what I wanted to accomplish with the channel, I had to come to a realization. And that realization is that if I'm constantly changing my approach to the game and I'm taking on all of these different swing methods and strategy methods and drills and different techniques and different philosophies on the game, that it was going to be very difficult for me to improve as a golfer, to improve my skill. Because when you're constantly switching things up like that, you never have time to get settled into one way and to start making progress forward within just one philosophy. That's a sacrifice that I make of myself and of my game for the benefit of the channel and for the benefit of you guys out there watching. In order to become a high-level skilled golfer, a plus handicap, a teaching professional, a tour pro, the overwhelming majority of us, minus those who have just God-given ability, will need to invest an enormous amount of time and money and effort and hard work, probably under the guidance and the tutelage of a face-to-face professional, using one approach to become a highly skilled golfer. For most of us, that is just unrealistic. We don't have that kind of time. We don't have that kind of money. We can't make our life revolve around golf. We're lucky if we get in a bucket of balls at the range a week, and we're lucky if we get to play one round each week on the weekends. That is not a formula for you to be a plus handicap. That is a formula for you to basically survive the golf course, shoot consistently below 90, and just try and get around and keep it out of the trees. With this channel, my goal is to examine a lot of the different philosophies that I see out there, the swing methods, the approach to the game, short game techniques, drills, to examine all of those different ways to play the game and swing the club, to see what has validity and what's viable for people like us, average golfers, amateur golfers, weekend hacks, and see if maybe I can find some value from examining these and doing in-depth reviews that I can pass along to you that may just flip a switch inside of you to make you a better golfer than you were yesterday. I'm going to go back and show you some footage from a hole that I did not include in one of my videos, but I think it speaks a lot to the Zen Golf method, and it was a hole that turned out really fun. Okay, visualization. That's huge in Zen Golf. That is something that we all can improve on, and it's something that we all need. This hole is a great opportunity to see if I can visualize and create an intent and then execute without mechanical thought. This is a par 4, dog leg to the left. This hole is really difficult because it's a tight hole. I usually hit 4-iron up here into the middle, and then I've got like 230 yards left into the green for a second shot, and I always end up missing this green. There is a cluster of trees over here to the left. However, there's a gap if you go further left. If I had to play a fade with my driver, I've always wanted to do this and I've never done it, but if I play a fade with my driver, I could put myself way closer and have a much better chance of hitting this green in 2, and there's not a whole lot of penalty up there unless I bang into this cluster of trees and then leave myself really short, in which case I'm probably not going to hit the green. But I don't have much of a chance of hitting the green from 230 yards out on my second shot anyway, so let's have a little fun. Now, I apologize for the angle here. I realize that you can't see exactly what I'm aiming at because it was cart path only today and my camera mounts to the cart, but I'm going to explain it. So this is a par 4, dogleg left. It's about 420 yards, I believe, as you normally play the hole, to go up and then, land it in the middle of the fairway and then go left. The problem is that when you have a second shot, it's a really long second shot. What I'm trying to do here is cut the corner off. There's a cluster of trees that is slightly to the right of my aim point here, and there's also a little shed, I guess, to be able to get out of the weather that's down there, and if I go too far, I'm going to be behind some more trees that are even left of that shed. But this shot right here, I've always wanted to try, driver through the trees, and then cut the corner off. And what I end up doing here is probably eliminating about 100 more yards of carry in order to get at this green. Man, that was hit strong, and it's just what I pictured. A tiny little baby fade. It didn't quite have as much fade on it as I needed, but that's probably more a planning thing for me. But that was struck really well. I got to go up here to see the result because I'm not sure that I cleared and hit it far enough. But it was right over this little shed up here that I've been planning on, and it was pretty much a 90% match to what I had in my head, and there was no swing thought whatsoever. Well, I found it, and I'm not in prime location, but I can clear these trees. I hit this ball really well. It's a little left of where I want it to be. I want it to be more right of this shed. But like Stefan Bachos would say from Flowmotion, that was great. So I've got 145 yards, which is normally about a 9-iron. I'm going to take one extra club so that I can swing a little bit smoother and a little bit easier. I know you can't see the flag, but it's behind about here. And I'm just going to see what I get. Target focused. Oh, that was right at it. I think it hit something that I couldn't see from here. We'll get up there and check it out. It did hit something. It clipped a tree and shot out. It came a little bit further left, so I'm left of the green and a little bit shorter than I thought I would be, especially since I took a little extra club. But this is not a bad result. I'm chipping now. I can save par. I started it pretty much right of my spot. And you can't see it from here, but there is a hill, and it kind of goes downhill, and it shot off more to the right. But good distance, good feel. I ended up making bogey on that hole. I missed the putt. The chip shot really sort of cost me a little bit. Even though I had great visualization and feel, and I put it, kind of in the spot that I wanted, I was just a little bit right. And I left myself a little bit too much meat on the bone. I had like a 7 or 8 footer, and I barely missed it. Tapped in for bogey, but I don't think I played the hole bad. I guess the reason that I showed that hole is because so much of that hole, even though the result was not exactly what I wanted it to be, so much of that hole, in my mind, embodies what I learned during my time with the Zen Golf method. And that is this. You don't have to be so bound by mechanics and positions and hitting all of those marks. It needs to be more cerebral. It needs to be more in your senses. It needs to be more given over to the natural sort of subconscious motions that your body is capable of producing. I've talked about Sean Clement before. I've talked about Ron Sisson before. I've talked about, Flowmotion and Zen Golf, Marcus Bell, Stefan Bachos, Robin Matthews-Williams. I've talked about so many of these people and their philosophies. Even Count Yogi. Count Yogi said that he had 0 mechanical thoughts, 0 swing thoughts, and that it was all about just turning the controls over to your subconscious mind in order to control your body in the most efficient way, as long as you give it a task and a flight plan and visualization that will eventually create the motions and the movements in your body that are needed just by letting go. And that's what Zen Golf did. And on that hole, I trusted it. I had no swing thoughts, no mechanics, no positions. All I thought about was what I wanted the golf ball to do. And I stood over it, and my address position, my setup, became dictated by what I wanted to accomplish and the flight that I saw and the patterns that were in my head as far as intent and my intentions go. And then on the second shot, even though I could not see the target because it was behind that cluster of trees, again, I just trusted the motion. I saw the flight in my head where I wanted it to go, and then I executed. There was no mechanics whatsoever in it, and I think that has left me with a very sort of clear picture in my head of what it is that I want my golf swing to be, and just how simple it can be Certainly things take practice, and certainly mechanics are involved. I don't want to say that there's no mechanics and that setup and positions and all of that are unimportant. That's not true. You do have to work on that stuff on the range a little bit, but when it's time to get out on the golf course, you have to put all of that away. You're not doing any maintenance work. You're not doing any building work. You're not breaking the machine down and building it back up there. You're not trying to ingrain anything there. You're simply trying to play golf, and you're simply trying to let go and just feel the rhythm back and forth, left foot, right foot, and it's really, that's what it's all about. That's what it's supposed to be, and that's what I learned from Zen Golf. So I hope you enjoyed this series of videos. I'm going to move on to something else. I've got a couple more little ideas that I want to throw out to you, but then I hope to do another in-depth review. I've already got it in my head, what it is that I want it to be, and what it's going to be on. You'll have to subscribe. You'll have to hit the little bell notification and stick around and stay tuned and pay attention to what's coming up on the channel, because the next review that I do, a lot of you have not heard of this. Some of you I'm sure have, and you're probably going to be really excited about it. And for those of you who don't know who this guy is, what this system is, you got to pay attention, because this is going to be a really cool review, and it's something I've wanted to do for a very long time. So I appreciate the support. Be sure to leave me some comments down below. Hit the thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you next time.